Hey guys, how are you? I was just sending out an alert. My bad. How's everybody doing? How's everyone doing? Okay, so I talked about this earlier on Love Lies and Lace Fronts this morning, and some other stuff came up, and I had to handle that first, and then the day happened and all of the things. So now we are here, and you may or may not have heard about this. These people on the screen, who are they? That is De'Ara and Ken. They used to be known as DK4L, and there is a lawsuit going on right now. De'Ara filed a lawsuit against Ken. They are what I would consider OG YouTubers. They were doing this thing for a long time. They made a lot of money. De'Ara is still on here. Ken is still working social media, but it looks a little different. Um, he's not doing exactly what he's doing social media. I mean, I can't really say I haven't like in depth like looked at his channel and said, okay, this is what he's doing, this is what he's not doing. But what I can say is this: De'Ara is still vlogging. De'Ara has a really successful channel. She has a retail business as well. She has a she has a line of sunglasses, I'll say it like that, and it's pretty successful. She's doing well with it. Um, and she's still doing well with her YouTube channel. And this part of that is the reason for this particular lawsuit, not her channel specifically, but what was with her former fiance, her former boo thing, Ken. And the lawsuit is pretty interesting because if you ever really wanted to know some of the behind the scenes about what was going on with De'Ara and Ken, who were very secretive, who really didn't tell a whole lot of their business, who really kept things very close and very kind of like, I mean, I'm going to say private to a certain degree, if there is such a thing as privacy on YouTube. Um, it it gives a lot of information to me. I used to watch Deera. She does post like she used to. Her grandmother passed in October. I think, this is what I think about Deera. I think Deera spent a lot of her kind of time from coming out of high school into her now, all the way into her 20s, approaching 30, which she's not there yet, but she spent a lot of time with this guy. She spent a lot of time on YouTube. She spent a lot of time sharing her life. And I think she posts, you know, I think she posts like a big channel. I think sometimes big channels they post two, three, four times a month. Um, I think she kind of posts like a big channel that has big deals and has her own business. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think the channel has evolved. It has definitely changed. I don't think she's doing things like she used to. And I think that's, it's okay, right? Um Anyway, let's get into it because I'm not going to hold you guys too long. But this is really it's kind of juicy to me. I started watching De'Ara and Ken when they got engaged, and you would see like, oh god, now I'm gonna not remember her name. Uh, you would see other YouTubers. I always love like YouTube events or YouTube vlogs when you see like other YouTubers that you watch. In the background or showing up. When they had their engagement party, they had a lot of other YouTubers that were there. I think when I really started watching them was when they got engaged because it was really cute. It was beautiful, all of the things. And Ken just kept getting caught cheating. Ken kept getting caught cheating, and it was quite embarrassing, I'm sure, for her. And anyway, it did not end well. And obviously, even though they said that it was okay, they were still friends, they're fine, all of those things. I mean, clearly it was not. Clearly everything was not okay. Um and Wait, just one second, guys. Let me find my screen. Okay, this needs to go over here. Okay. Clearly everything was not okay. All right, so let's get into it. This was filed in DeKalb County on Tuesday. So this is De'Ara and Ken. They used to be known as DK4L. So let's get into it. It explains a lot about their relationship, but this is them on the screen. So if you didn't know who these two people are, it's they are very popular YouTubers. They used to have a channel together. They no longer have a channel, and this entire lawsuit is going to tell you why. So if you didn't know, you're going to know in a minute. So don't worry about like I have no idea who these people are. I'm getting ready to tell you. Okay, comes now. So this was filed in DeKalb County on the 31st. So they got it in before the end of the year. And here we go. Now comes the plaintiff, De'Ara Taylor, by and through undersigned counsel and file this complaint against defendant Kenneth DeRise Walker for inter alia, breach of fiduciary duty, theft by taking, theft by conversion, and embezzlement. So they're going the civil route, okay? Breach of contract and unjust enrichment and other misconduct as more specifically set forth herein. Plaintiff hereby petitions this honorable court for general damages, special damages, punitive damages, for damages resulting from Walker's actions and other appropriate and just relief starting as follows. Okay, let's keep going. I don't have full view of, let me pull up the chat on this window. Just a second, guys. Let me. Okay, now I've got the chat in this window. If you guys, we have 184 here. Take a minute, hit the like button for me. I so appreciate it. Okay. So, factual background, jurisdiction and venue. The court. Oh, did I put up the right one? Just one second. Let me make sure. I think I did because I redacted this. Yes, I did. Okay. Ooh, I just wanted to make sure. Okay. The court has jurisdiction over the subject matter of this action. Walker resides in DeKalb County, Georgia, and is subject to jurisdiction venue for this court. The subject matter jurisdiction is proper as the Superior Court has jurisdiction over both causes, both civil and criminal, granted by the Constitution and laws of the state. Is she going to seek criminal charges against him? I don't know. Maybe she has. Maybe they told her it was civil. I don't know. But they mentioned both civil and criminal, would they have jurisdiction over? Plaintiff De'Ara Taylor is a natural person who is a citizen and resident of DeKalb County, Georgia. Defendant Kenneth, I'm going to skip his middle name, is a natural person residing in DeKalb County, Georgia. This court has personal jurisdiction over Walker because his principal residence is located in DeKalb County, Georgia. Walker may be served at blank or any location wherein he may be located from time to time. Taylor and Walker are public figures with successful careers as social media influencers. Taylor and Walker began dating in 2014, so 10 years ago, and she's still in her 20s. Like they've been together since they were really, really young, in my opinion. And I don't doubt that she's hurt. But okay, so Taylor and Walker are both public figures. They're establishing who they are and that their relationship started in 2014. At the time, Taylor was an aspiring social media influencer with a small following, and Walker was working at Home Depot. I was like, okay. After approximately 3 months of dating, Taylor and Walker decided to go into business together. So after 3 months of dating, they decided to go into business together. So Taylor created a couples YouTube channel. Okay. Isn't that what the thing was to do back in 2014? De'Ara and Ken for life for the parties. The YouTube channel quickly grew in popularity, and after the parties received their first check from YouTube, after they got monetized, after they started making money, after they got their first check from YouTube, Walker quit his job at Home Depot. Okay. She was not new to this. She was true to this. She met Homie. He was working at Home Depot. After they started doing videos, they got monetized, they got their first check. He quit his job and was like, okay, let's do this damn thing. In 2016, the parties decided to formalize. So 2 years later, they decided to formalize the business and establish DK4L LLC July 19th, 2016, in the state of Georgia, county of DeKalb, with DK4L being the abbreviation wordplay on the name of their YouTube channel. As the party's YouTube channel continued to grow, the parties began to receive many lucrative brand deals and with major companies and brands, launched DK4L merchandise, had an opportunity to go on tour, to meet fans, and even got the opportunity to be in a blockbuster movie. At this point, the parties were traveling a lot and decided to expand their business to include a second YouTube channel, Vlogs by DK4L, where the parties logged about their travels. I guess they meant to say vlogged about their travels. The parties' two YouTube channels amassed over 9 million subscribers. The parties were a brand and took the necessary steps to protect their brand, trademarking DK4L for clothing and entertainment services in 2018 and DK Gang for fan group in 2019. Taylor's personal brand also grew during this time, and she offered independent deals. She was offered independent deals with brands such as Savage Fenty and Fashion Nova. Although Taylor was offered these deals as an individual, separate and apart from DK4L, she put all of her earnings from her individual deals into DK4L account as a measure of goodwill towards Walker and the business they had built together. At this point, DK4L LLC brand of a at this point, DK4L LLC brand of a happy couple had grown into a multi-million-dollar business and was thriving. Unfortunately, the party's brand as a happy couple, consequently, the DK4L LLC began to suffer after Walker was involved in a series of cheating scandals that went viral. Walker apologized and promised that he had learned from his mistakes and would never cheat again, and Taylor sought counseling as the parties attempted to reconcile. The things seemed to be back on track for the parties. In 2019, Walker proposed to Taylor in Greece, and Taylor accepted his proposal, believing Walker was a changed man. After the proposal, the brand not only recovered but skyrocketed. During COVID-19, the parties were on lockdown together and made content daily, which helped bolster their business. But in November 2020, the business and Taylor were shattered when Walker was caught in yet another cheating scandal that went viral. Walker was devastated. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God. Ooh, okay. Did I lose my page? Sorry, guys. Did I go a whole page? Okay. Sorry, I went 2 pages. My bad. But in November 2020, the business was shattered when Walker was caught in yet another cheating scandal that went viral. Walker was devastated by the negative press that followed, and Taylor showed mercy towards Walker, who suffered mentally as a result of the negative press, by staying with him. However, things were never the same. Taylor began doing solo content segments to post on the party's YouTube channel to make sure that the channel had new content and continued to bring in revenue. Walker was angry and took issue with Taylor doing solo content, although his cheating was the reason they couldn't do joint content. And he didn't take the initiative to make any individual content for their YouTube channels, knowing the content was vital to DK4L's success. Walker's anger was unwarranted as the money from Taylor's content was still going directly into DK4L's LLC account. During that time, Walker refused to make content and do work necessary to repair the party's brand and did not want Taylor to make solo. He didn't want them to work and he didn't want her to work. Is that not ridiculous? Taylor, however, was legally obligated to continue to make content as she was under contract with several brands. So she did. She was booked and busy. So she had to keep going because even though he had the luxury of sulking in his misery that he created for himself, I'm paraphrasing. She did not have such luxury. It seems like he was probably a hater on top of that. I'm just putting my own 2 cents in it because how were you so mentally devastated when you were out there cheating? You're mad because you got caught cheating? Like that's just absolutely ridiculous. Guys, if you're new here, take a minute and hit the thumbs up for me. Also consider subscribing, set your notifications to all. We have 266 watching right now and we still have under 100 likes. Let's get into it. Okay, we're just now getting started. Taylor's popularity grew even more as she produced more and more independent content, and Walker got more and more jealous of her independent success, and it became apparent the relationship was on the rocks. In May of 2021, while Taylor was out of town completing a brand deal, Walker once again got caught in a scandal involved with a woman that went viral. This time, Walker was seen on a live stream flirting with another woman and asking them inappropriate questions. I think he was outside a club or a strip club, and somebody was in a parking lot, saw him. He tried to say it was a setup, but how could it be a setup when you were out there with your friends talking to somebody? I feel like I remember when that happened. Anyway, in May of 2021, while Taylor was out of town completing a brand deal, again, Walker once again got caught in the scandal involving a woman that went viral. This time, Walker was seen on a live stream flirting with a woman and asking them inappropriate questions. Walker again pleaded to Taylor to stay and tried to blame the media for trying to keep them apart. He also attempted to use emotional blackmail to get her to stay, as he had done in the past. However, this time it was unsuccessful. In May of 2021, Taylor and Walker officially split. Shortly thereafter, Walker informed Taylor that he was moving out of their shared apartment, that he had found a new home, was getting a car, and separate and apart from the vehicle that they shared, and informed Taylor that he didn't want anything from the house and had no intention on helping Taylor move. And you know what? De'Ara never said anything. That's the one thing. Like if you've been watching her channels, when all of this went down and they separated and she got her own place, she never talked bad about him once. She would say stuff like, Ken's my best friend, all kinds of stuff like that. I never heard her say one bad thing about Ken. And he took his rusty behind, left her like that, and did not even offer to help her move, left everything like, oh, I'm just taking my clothes and you can figure everything else out. I don't blame her for filing this. Taylor moved out without much assistance from Walker, and then Taylor became aware that Walker attempted to collect payments from Taylor's personal deals and sponsorships behind her back. Taylor moved out without much assistance from Walker, and then Taylor became aware Walker attempted to collect payments from Taylor's personal deals and sponsorships behind her back. After this, became clear that the parties could not continue as business partners. They attempted to reach an agreement on their own, but they couldn't agree, so they enlisted an attorney who they typically used for their business matters. With the help of the lawyer, the parties reached an agreement. Taylor would pay the remaining balance of the Tesla the parties shared out of their personal money and in turn keep the Tesla. The Tesla was subject to a loan secured by $40,000 of the parties' money, so they agreed they would split the $40,000 evenly after the loan was paid off and the bank returned the money. The parties agreed to leave the YouTube pages active so they could continue to generate money from the old videos and to split the money in DK4L LLC account with $220,000 going to Walker and 254,000 going to Taylor. So they were sitting there with the business account with $500,000 sitting in it. Okay? Taylor's cut being higher because of her contribution to the account. After the payout, the parties agreed to leave the remaining balance, approximately $80,000, in an account to cover outstanding bills, pay staff payroll, and obligations of DK4L LLC. Taylor and Walker would both get to keep their retirement accounts. Each worth approximately $70,000. Wait a second. The parties did not discuss their social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat because they never made any money from those platforms. The parties did not discuss those platforms. There's just some platforms you might be on, but they're not necessarily going to make you money. And I guess that was it for them. They would keep up on those platforms, but they were not money makers for them, Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat. On or around November 23rd, 2022, Taylor was paying DK4L LLC's bills out of the DK4L LLC account and discovered the account was almost empty. When Taylor checked the account, she realized that Walker had transferred a series of lump sums of money to himself without saying a word to her and in violation of the agreement they made. When Taylor asked Walker about it, he admitted to taking the money and claimed it was because he was drowning in medical bills and couldn't work, even though the majority of the money was stolen prior to Walker incurring medical bills. Walker may not Walker not only acknowledged that he stole the money, he acknowledged that he owed and he was obligated to pay back the money he took from DK4L account. After taking more in-depth review of the transactions in DK4L LLC, Taylor realized Walker had been stealing money from DK4L LLC account for over a year, beginning towards the end of their relationship. And Taylor discovered that Walker received a $40,000 collateral back from the bank for the secured Tesla loan without giving her half the $20,000 previously agreed. Poor De'Ara. I hate that she had to go through this. While Walker admitted to stealing the money, admitted to receiving and spending the money from the secured Tesla loan, and agreed to pay it all back, Walker tried to justify his actions by claiming Taylor had spent more money out of the account during the relationship. In December 2022, the parties again enlisted their business attorney to help the parties figure out the best path forward as the tensions between the parties continue to increase. With the help of their business attorney, the parties came up with a new agreement and addressed the car, the YouTube channels, and real estate. Ooh, shit, I went too far. Walker would keep the $40,000 and sign the title to the Tesla over to Taylor. Since the parties could not agree on how their YouTube channels would be used and by who, and a buyout fee for use by one party, the parties agreed to delete their YouTube channels as it was only beneficial to Walker, whom was stealing all of the earnings. Wow, so did they take down DK4L? That's sad because they would have had to save all of that content, but maybe they didn't want it anymore. Okay. Uh, so one, Walker would keep the $40,000, sign over the car. Two, since the parties could not agree on their YouTube channels would be used and by who, and a buyout fee for use by one party, the parties agreed to delete their YouTube channels. Wow. Okay. Walker and Taylor would split the proceeds of the real estate 50-50. They'd bought some property. The parties agreed to dissolve the business, which was officially dissolved December 30th, 2022. Taylor and Walker honored all the terms of the agreement, but failed to honor the agreement to repay Taylor made between the parties independently for the money stolen from DK4L. The parties had limited interactions in 2023. In September 2023, Taylor hired a bookkeeping and accounting service, Busy Bee Accounting Services, to prepare the business books and file the remaining unfiled taxes for DK4L. Because of the magnitude of the accounting needed, Taylor had to hire an additional accounting service, Envision Business Management Group, to prepare the taxes. Envision Business Management Group completed the work and let both Taylor and Walker know what the tax liability would be, as well as the daily penalties being accrued by the late filing. Walker ignored their communication, and Taylor was left to deal with the accounting services alone. The footnote here says the parties did not discuss their other social media pages as they did not get any income from them. To date, Taylor has reactivated her old Snapchat, which was named De'Ara and Ken, but now only named for Taylor. Walker has converted the party's old Facebook page into his own personal page and seized control. They said seized, so he of the DK4L email account, which was always accessible by both parties. Okay, so maybe that he took control of the email and locked her out. Okay. The parties had limited interactions in 2024. In November 2024, Taylor had DK4L LLC attorney reach out to Walker regarding the taxes and Walker finally responded and said that he couldn't afford to pay taxes but would sign a promissory agreement if Taylor would pay the total tax liability for DK4L. The attorney drew up a promissory agreement and sent it to Walker, but then he stopped communicating with Taylor and the attorney, only to reach out weeks later in December of 2024 to complain about Taylor reactivating her old personal Snapchat page that was previously named for both Taylor and Walker, and the potential revenue that Taylor might be receiving. He's only concerned about getting money, not paying. Okay. Taylor paid the state of Georgia $339 for 2021 state taxes and $340 for 2022 taxes on or around September 11th, 24. Taylor also paid the IRS $11,000 on or around November 11th, 2024, which equaled half of DK4L's outstanding tax debt. Taylor was waiting on the executed promissory note to pay the remaining IRS balance of $11,000, but was never received. Walker continues to cry broke, stating that he had to move back in with his mother and feign any inability to pay Taylor back the money he stole. However, Walker received approximately $237,500. Let's not forget that they had a account with over $500,000 in it, right? Hold on. Who? Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Okay. Let's not forget that So, however, Walker received approximately $237,500, as did Taylor, from the sale of their jointly owned real. So, on top of the money that was in their account, they had a piece of real estate that he also received 200. So he got cash at the beginning, right? And then also they sold some real estate, $237,500, as did Taylor, from the sale of their jointly owned real estate in 2023. And Walker continues to post himself living a luxury lifestyle on social media, and the views from the posts, whether real or fake, garner views and correlate to income. So Walker has and does have the means to repay Taylor the money he stole and to cover the tax liabilities on the state and federal taxes. So this is what the claims are for relief. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Plaintiff Taylor hereby incorporates. So this is the claims for relief, breach of fiduciary duty. Plaintiff Taylor hereby incorporates by reference the allegations contained in the paragraphs 1 through 43 of the complaint as if fully set forth herein. A managing member of a limited liability company owes a fiduciary duty to its fellow members, according to OCGA 1411-3051. Defendant Walker and Taylor were both managing members of DK4L LLC. Accordingly, Walker had fiduciary duty to act in the best interests of DK4L LLC and his co-managing member, Taylor. However, Walker acted in a way that he knew was in his own best interest and failed to act as a member that he believed to be in the best interests of DK4L and Taylor. Further, Walker's actions were not made with the care that an ordinary prudent person would take under similar circumstances. Walker's decision to cheat on Taylor multiple times, his decision to act inappropriately with women and on multiple occasions, along with his refusal to make content after his bad behavior went viral in 2020, ruined the fundamental brand of DK4L with that of a happy couple, which led to the demise of DK4L. Moreover, Walker's undisclosed and unauthorized theft from DK4L's LLC financial assets and refusal to pay his share of DK4L's tax liability caused significant damages to DK4L and his co-managing member, Taylor. Because Walker breached his fiduciary duty to DK4L, his co-managing member Taylor, based on OCGA 1411-305, Taylor was entitled to recover damages in the amount to be determined at trial, but in no event less than $100,000. Girl, number 49, theft by taking. Taylor hereby incorporates by reference of allegation contained in paragraphs 1 through 43 of this complaint as if fully set forth herein. Walker admitted that while he still had access to DK4L LLC business account and after he had already received his agreed upon share of profits, $220,000 based on an agreement the parties made when they decided to separate, stop making new content. Walker willfully, secretly, and unlawfully took money from DK4L's account for the purposes of covering his own personal living expenses, including but not limited to cars, vast amounts of club outings, luxury trips, high end clothing, and jewelry. After the payout, Walker no longer had the right to take any ownership in the money remaining in the account. Walker's use of the stolen money for his personal living expenses made it unlikely for DK4L and Taylor to recover the money. Walker intentionally took the money from DK4L's account with no intention of putting the money back. Walker's theft caused DK4L account to be underfunded and caused plaintiff Taylor to have to use her personal money to cover the liabilities. Walker's actions were direct and proximate cause of DK4L's and Taylor's financial damages in the amount to be established by the evidence presented. Taylor hereby incorporates and references the allegations contained in the paragraphs 1 through 43 as a complaint as if fully set forth herein. Walker has access to the DK4L business account as a managing member. Walker used his legal access and willfully, secretly, unlawfully takes money that was specifically left for DK4L account to cover DK4L's business expenses, payrolls, and other obligations, accounts for over a year, and instead used the money for his own personal living expenses and had already received $220,000 as a payment of his share of profits. After the payout of $220,000, Walker no longer had the right to take any remaining money from account for his own personal use. Walker's use of the money left DK4L's account for his personal living expensive, alternatively constitutes theft by conversion and embezzlement. Okay. Walker's conversion and embezzlement of DK4L's LLC financial resources caused DK4L accounts to be underfunded, caused the plaintiff Taylor financial damages. She had to use her personal money to cover liabilities, responsibilities, including but not limited to tax liability. Walker's actions were the direct and proximate cause, and Taylor's damages in the amount to be established in the evidence presented in trial. Plaintiff hereby incorporates by reference and allegations contained in the paragraphs 1 through 43 of this complaint and is fully set forth. The parties entered into legally binding contract in which Taylor agreed not to pursue legal remedies if Walker paid Taylor back the money he stole from DK4L in 2021 and 2022. Walker never made any payments, but instead continued to acknowledge his obligation to pay, make excuses for why he couldn't pay, and why he needed more time to pay. Taylor was patient and gave Walker plenty of opportunities and time to repay the debt, but Walker abused Taylor's kindness and patience. Walker's failure to return the money he stole from DK4L account constitutes a breach of contract. Walker's breach of contract has caused Taylor significant financial harm as she had to use her own personal money to cover the liabilities in addition to accounting fees to uncover the extent of Walker's theft and legal fees to recover the outstanding debt. Taylor is entitled to damages pursuant to OCGA 1362 as Walker's actions were the direct and proximate cause of DK4L LLC's and Taylor's financial damages in the amount to be established by the evidence presented at trial. Taylor hereby incorporates by reference and allegations contained in paragraph 1 through 43 of this complaint as if fully set forth herein. Alternatively, if there is no legal binding contract, Taylor was unjustly enriched at the expense of Taylor. Walker was enriched by the money he wrongfully took from DK4L LLC. Taylor was harmed by Walker's unjust enrichment because the money Walker took from the LLC account was earmarked for liabilities, responsibilities of the business, and Taylor had to use her personal money to cover the expenses in LLC's account and did not have enough money to cover them after Walker's withdrawals. But for Walker's withdrawals, would have had enough for its account to cover the liabilities and responsibilities of the business and would have had, you know, one thing I'm going to say about this is that when they made the agreement and they had the lawyer, I guess she wouldn't have known that he was going to, in her words, steal, right? I would say this. Um, no one, they should have had an accountant. They should have had whoever their accountant was. And I mean, that's risky too because people do steal, unfortunately, but they should have had some sort of trustee or they should have had it set up where one person could not take out funds. There shouldn't have been, they should have canceled debit cards. They should have canceled the ability. When you're sharing money with people and you're not sure, or you just want to make sure everything is on the up and up, then you have to cancel debit cards, cancel checks, cancel everything. And it's a trip to the bank. If you need money and it's something outside of bill pay that has already been set up, no money or withdrawals can be taken out without going to the bank, and you need two signatures. Okay. That would have saved that for sure. Like, no one can touch the money except for it. You need to have two signatures, and there's no bank cards, there's no drawing of checks, there's nothing. All you can do is go to the bank and handle the business at the bank. The bank will do the wire transfers, the bank will cut cashier's checks, things of that nature, or the bank will, that type of stuff. Anyway, it's hindsight's 2020. I don't think she thought for a minute that this guy would steal from her. Anyway, okay, we're almost done. But for Walker's withdrawals, DK4L would have had enough money in its accounts to cover the liabilities and responsibilities of the business. Taylor would not have had to use her own personal funds. Walker knew he was receiving a benefit he was not entitled to, and that Taylor would expect him to replace the money once she discovered the withdrawals. Punitive damages and litigation expenses. Plaintiff Taylor hereby incorporates, in reference to the allegations contained in 1 through 43 complaint and fully set forth herein, Walker's actions was set forth herein were committed with a specific intent to cause harm as contemplated in OCGA 5112.5.1. As such, Taylor is entitled to recover punitive damages because Walker's wrongful conduct, as outlined herein, constitutes the intentional tort and demonstrates specific intent, malice, fraud, and wantonness and oppression, all within the meaning of OCGA 5112.5.1. Walker's theft and refusal to pay the money he stole and refusal to pay his share of the LLC's tax liabilities despite multiple opportunities and an extended period of time to pay caused Taylor to file this lawsuit and incur unnecessary litigation expenses. Because Walker's bad faith conduct forced Taylor to file this lawsuit, Taylor asked the court to award her attorney's fees and court related to the litigation pursuant to OCGA 13611. Plaintiff demands a trial by jury on any and all issues triable by a jury. Prayer for relief. Wherefore, Plaintiff Taylor prays that the court grants the following relief. The court awards Taylor general and special damages in an amount to be determined by a tier of fact, which the evidence will establish as exceeding $100,000. The court award punitive damages Walker for the claims against Walker for plaintiff claims against Walker and his willful, malicious, wanton, and oppressive conduct in an amount determined by the tier of facts. That the court award Taylor her costs of litigation in the action and a reasonable attorney's fees. That the court grant Taylor the right to have a trial by jury on all triable to a jury, and that the court grants such additional relief as the court deems proper and just. Respectfully submitted, the 31st day of December 2024. And that was from her lawyer, Maya Simmons Rogers. Yay. Okay. This is what I'm going to say also on top of this. I don't want to say never go into business with your boyfriend on YouTube, but I would say be careful of going into business with your boyfriend on YouTube. They were making a lot of money, and I think they were a young couple in a very serious relationship. And not to give him any excuses, because there are none. If he didn't want to be there, he didn't have to be there. You know what I mean? You didn't have to keep going on with the charade. I think De'Ara really loved this guy, and I think she was very hurt. I think he hurt her really, really, really bad. And I don't blame her for wanting to recoup her money. This guy got over a half a million. According to this document, this guy got over a half a million dollars. One for property that they purchased, right? So maybe it, however they paid for it, he was given $220,000 based on the sale of property. Also, a cash payout from their bank account. In 4 years, you have not been able to handle with $500,000 cash. To have $500,000 cash today, you have to make almost $1,000,000. If you wanted to have $500,000 cash in your account, you've had to make $1,000,000. Okay. So he had $500,000 cash and you can't pay your taxes. And also, on top of that, you were stealing money out of the joint account. And every time you went to a lawyer and tried to set something up, you never made good on any of the promises. So I'm sure they have a paper trail. I'm sure, I almost feel like that's Phaedra over his shoulder. If you look over his shoulder behind, I feel like that looks just like Phaedra. That might be Phaedra. They like it. We're gonna keep our eye on this and see how this goes. But Ken did have a response. Let me see if it's still posted. He put up a story today. Let's see, is it still here? Yes, hold on. He decided to answer this from bed. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's see. He said, "Let me get up. Let me get up and talk to the people." Okay. See if I can show it from here. My bad. Um okay. I lost my tab for a second.
All right, let's go ahead and address this really, really quickly. First of all, good morning. It's too early for this. It's too early for this. But anyway, let's go ahead and address a couple things. Number one, hold your head. All right, let's go ahead and address this really, really quickly. First of all, good morning. It's too early for this. It's too early for this. But anyway, let's go ahead and address a couple things. Number one, the $40,000 regarding the car. Came to the end agreement after we had a number of conversations about it. You keep the car. We break even on the loan. The car's valued at like $43,000. The loan was $40,000. Break even. Boom. Never heard about it since. You got a bill of sale. You got the title to the car. Everything. Cool. That was it.
All right, this is
Hold your head. All right, let's go ahead and address this really, really quickly. First of all, good morning. It's too early for this. It's too early for this. But anyway, let's go ahead and address a couple things. Number one, the $40,000 regarding the car. Came to the end agreement after we had a number of conversations about it. You keep the car. We break even on the loan. The car's valued at like $43,000. The loan was $40,000. Break even. Boom. Never heard about it since. You got a bill of sale. You got the title to the car. Everything. Cool. That was it. Regarding the bank account, again, extensive text messages regarding this. We had a phone call after all our conversations, December 12th at 4 p.m. I think in 2022 this was. Again, this is in text messages. We had a number of conversations on it. People on your team said, hey, you follow this personal income, pay the taxes on it. Cool. Never talked about it since. Everything else, Snapchat, the YouTube videos, whatever. It's like I thought we moved past this years ago. Years ago. Hold your head, guard your heart. Hold your head.
Okay, so Ken started to address it on his Instagram page, which, like someone just said, he's making the same mistake. Okay, someone said get out his mama's house. Tierra, they basically spill all the tea without being very like gratuitous about it. Like I think they appropriate tea was spilt. You know, he's living at his mom's house. He's basically broke. I mean, how many times did he cheat? You know, I feel sorry for De'Ara because there's nothing worse than going through like a public situation where someone is playing you for a fool. And with all of the cheating, it's unfortunate. It's you know, it's unfortunate. And De'Ara is a very beautiful woman. Let me pull this up for those of you. De'Ara has, you know, grown up on social media. She's very beautiful, and has a lot going for her. And at the end of the day, clearly he did not want to be with her in that way. And it's not an indictment on her, it's him. You know what I mean? He decided he didn't really want to be with her like that. He was cheating on her, he was making her look foolish. And I don't blame her for ending things. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and the entitlement. I mean, they did grow this business together and she did everything. Um, she took him back on numerous occasions. She tried to be nice about it. And what did that get her? You know, it got her look, and she was nice about it and good. What did that get her? That got her a channel on her own where she has her own over a million subscriber channel. She did it in less than a year. I remember when she started her own new channel, and it took about 9 months and she got a million subscribers. Okay. And she's still traveling. She's still doing all the things. She's still enjoying her life. She bought a home. Um, and she's happy. You know, she seems to be happy, and she might just be happy enough, and she might just be just trying to get over, you know, the trauma of dealing with this guy for 7, 8 years. And here it is going into a whole nother year over 10, even though you guys have been broken up for a significant period of time, and she's still having to deal with his ass. You know what I mean? And it seems like she's the only person serious about managing the business, right? um anyway, so that was just recently filed in DeKalb County. We'll keep our eye on it for when they go to court, because this is like some big YouTube news. Like, if you've been around YouTube for any period of time and you are familiar with this couple, then this should be, you know, you should know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is definitely on some OG YouTube type stuff, and they've been around for a long time. They made a lot of money, and it's very unfortunate to hear that Ken kind of did her like this, but it doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, she's living her life and she seems to be happy. I think she's, you know, I think she really I don't know. I can't really say. She doesn't talk a lot about her personal life, and that's smart on YouTube. She's focusing on other things. She focuses on her, you know, she talks about her hair, she talks about her nails, what she's wearing, her fashion, her vacations. She tells you a lot about the food that she likes to eat. She keeps it very cute and very much not in the boo hoo hoo of her business, and the, you know, she doesn't she doesn't keep it so personal. I mean, I feel like she does a really good job of letting people feel like they get to know her, but they're getting to know her in aspects that she feels comfortable with. Um and didn't and doesn't really try to make the mistakes of having people be all up in her relationship, even though like her most successful situation on YouTube was about her relationship, but the relationship was not good. The relationship was not good, obviously, right? towards the end, before Deera and Ken moved out from the place that they were in together, if you notice, Ken was always playing games when he was always playing some sort of video, he was always gaming, right? She would be getting dressed to go out and go somewhere, and he would be, oh, he's off in a corner somewhere. He never wanted to show up. Yeah, we're almost done. I'm getting ready to sign off in just a second and get some rest because I've been going to sleep super late, and then I'm waking up super late, and then I'm off schedule. So you guys will see me tomorrow morning on Love Lies and Lace Fronts, where we do reactions, reviews, and commentary on the YouTube channels you love to watch. I will see you guys over there in the morning. If you're not subscribed to Love Lies and Lace Fronts, get into it. And I'm glad you guys joined me over here. Make sure to hit the like button for me. I appreciate your support. And that's it. That's all. Okay. You guys have a wonderful evening. And I will see you guys next time I go live, post another video, and do all the things over here. I'll see you guys tomorrow, more than likely at lunchtime, unless something comes up. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a good evening. See you later.